we are here in Councilmember Vivian Moreno's district this morning, and sadly she's not able to join us, but we applaud her leadership, and we want to recognize her hardworking staff who are also here with us today. So the Council District 8 staff, thank you for joining us this morning. So I got some good news to share with you all, and I'm really delighted to be able to share it. I thought Barrio Logan is a particularly appropriate place to host this event, as it's one of the only 2 state-designated cultural districts in San Diego. We're pretty proud of that too. This neighborhood is fertile ground for so much of the unique creative economy, where galleries and creative businesses, Chicano, Mexican-American cultural expression, and artists of all types and all mediums come together to create a truly dynamic community. Bread and Salt really embodies that spirit, where contemporary art, community, and culture all come together to build a sustainable, creative hub for economic empowerment. And that brings me the joy that I get to be here with you all today to kick off California Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month right here in America's finest city. Let's give it up. This is a statewide effort to share the value that arts and culture have in our lives, and in supporting local artists who put their heart and soul into everything that they do and into their communities every single day. I want to remind everyone, more than 100,000 San Diegans are employed in our creative economy, which generates more than $11 billion in economic activity every single year. I think the arts are fine on their own, but it does have a benefit in terms of economic impact. So those 2 things together makes it pretty awesome. The power of art is what helped us get through the most difficult times of the COVID-19 crisis. But I want to note that, unfortunately, nonprofit arts and culture were among the hardest hit sectors during the pandemic, both here in San Diego, statewide, and across the United States. Now, the city of San Diego tried to be a helpful actor in this difficult time, responding to the needs of artists and creatives through SD Practice, an effort that increased our city's civic art collection with new local artwork, and Park Social, a temporary public art initiative that commissions local art for the city's park system. Now, you'll be seeing those works of art in our parks across the city in the next month, and you can come to City Hall, including my office, to see some of those wonderful art pieces that were collected over the last year. You know, it's not the cutest building that's ever happened, but some art that hopefully helps distract the eye from that otherwise unremarkable architecture. Listen, was that subtle enough?
Real cute.
This group gets subtlety.
Being at the day we were at the Rady Shell, talking to the team from the World Design Capital, and I mentioned to the person that I was the chair of economic development, and that was the committee in which we have arts and culture overseen and reviewed and funded. And I was so happy to hear him say, that's exactly how we do it in Canada. I'm really glad we do it that way too. Win for me, there we go. Win for the city, really. Many arts and culture organizations are small businesses, and it is a top priority of mine to continue supporting these small businesses, especially as we enter the post-pandemic recovery. This is a top priority of my committee and my fellow colleagues, and I know it is a priority shared by the mayor. One aspect I'm really excited about is, of course, as I mentioned, the 2024 World Design Capital designation, which will together feature San Diego and Tijuana as a region. And people all over the world are going to see what an asset it can be to be a border city, to be a bi-national community. Food, architecture, music, theater, museums, infrastructure, so much more. I think it was so appropriate that the committee that formed the bid chose that the theme would be home. Because whether you live in San Diego or in Tijuana, mi casa es su casa, and we're going to show that to the world. Now, those in the creative economy know that my door is always open to you and hear your ideas and suggestions and input on how we can strengthen the creative economy, because we know a rising tide lifts all ships. And so your success is our collective success. I think of, I forget where I heard it one time in my life, but there is a connection between society, progress in society, and the progress in the arts. Just looking back at history, the age of Pericles was the age of Phidias. The age of Lorenzo de Medici was the age of Da Vinci. The age of Galileo was the age Shakespeare, the age of Einstein was the age of Frida Kahlo. These two things are intimately connected, and so I'm so proud to be part of a city council, city government with the mayor that supports the arts and culture community. It is about progress together. So I'm thrilled to be here today to kick off the California Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month here in San Diego. The last thing I'd say before I introduce really a hero of our San Diego region is, economic development, we think of it as jobs, we think of it as money and revenue, but I always think back to that line from Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society where he says, surely medicine and engineering, science and law are necessary to sustain life, but architecture and music, dancing and poetry, surely these are the things we live for. So I look forward to supporting all of you in this community, all your workers and your families that rely on it, because surely what you provide to our community is the thing we live for. So, allow me.
Thank you. I don't usually write my speeches, but today is a little bit different. This is pretty important to me. I've been a San Diego resident since 1955 and have seen a lot of new ideas and programs. Some were great, some not so great, but we learned from our mistakes. Our unique geographic setting, coupled with our unique culture, provided us with so many opportunities to truly integrate arts and culture with nature and our urban environment, making our region truly magnificent. We have missed a lot of those opportunities. We're not going to miss this one. As a landscape architect, urban planner, musician, a former San Diego Commissioner for Arts and Culture, and now a member of the California Arts Council, I have seen how arts and culture and a creative community can truly change neighborhoods and places. We now have an opportunity with this upcoming Creative City program to go back and heal some of the scars that we have left on our hearts and souls of our people, our public spaces and our natural spaces, using art and culture as the cure. A little personal story here. I did not know English until I was 5 years old. And I remember being told in kindergarten at Central School up here in City Heights that I'm an American now and I need to become part of the American culture. Forget Spanish. She said, don't use the name that was given to you by your parents. Use this name instead, an American name. That really did happen, and to some degree it was understandable, but this absorption came at the expense of ignoring the culture created by my Mexican and Yaqui Indian ancestors. In college, I was engaged and thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life with my fiance, but I was told by my fiance's father that as close as they wanted a Mexican to their family was their gardener. I didn't know how to react to that. We did not get married.
California to launch Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. I mean, when Jonathan Glass, who is on our board at Californians for the Arts, said, what more can we do than a proclamation? And I stood on the street corner in Northern California and we started to brainstorm, and here we are today. So, great job, Jonathan. Thank you so much. On behalf of our board president, Ron Muriera, who wishes he could be with us in person today, but he lives in San Jose, and our San Diego representatives of the board of the statewide advocacy organization, including Jonathan Glass, Victoria Hamilton, Felicia Shaw, Duluth Smith, and Bridget Cantu-Ware. My name is Julie Baker, and I am the Executive Director of Californians for the Arts. And along with our small but mighty team, Eduardo, Tracy, and Kara, it is my pleasure to thank San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria, who has been an outspoken leader for arts and culture, Councilmember Campillo and the other council members here, and our community and institutional partners, and our statewide champions for making this 2022 Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month launch possible. In 2019, California Arts successfully campaigned for the state to recognize and celebrate the arts by declaring April as Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, or as we call it, ACCM because it's a mouthful, through a concurrent resolution passed in the California Senate. In 2021, an additional resolution was declared to recognize artists as second responders, the idea that arts heal. Our organization directs this annual month-long spotlight on the arts to raise visibility and awareness about the value of our sector, to empower arts advocates to take action, and to spur greater investments in our industry and workforce. This year's theme, The Arts Work, weekly opportunities to explore and establish how the arts work to heal, to build community, to advance justice, to empower youth, and to create jobs. As we gather today in Barrio Logan, one of the 14 state designated pilot cultural districts, and welcomed by the Community Arts Center, Bread and Salt, where they remind us in their current exhibition, current times necessitate a radical paradigm shift, end quote. We recognize the transformative and inspirational power of the arts to examine the difficult truths and tell the stories that cultivate connection, community engagement, civic pride, and social cohesion. Arts and culture foster imagination and drive innovation to build healthy communities. They also drive economic health. In California, arts and cultures industries deliver $225 billion in economic value, ahead of construction, transportation, and retail. But at the same time, these last 2 years has shown the vulnerability of the arts and culture workforce, with 100,000 art jobs lost in California. And this is just people who are W-9 employees, and we know that arts workers are 3 times more likely to be self-employed in California between 2019 and 2020. We must provide the needed investments to rebuild this workforce with an emphasis on providing equitable funding for communities of color and historically oppressed communities. If you believe artists should be centered in community development and economic development, and given more than just applause, but living wage opportunities, and that we should prioritize equitable distribution of increased and sustained public funding for the arts, then join us this month and learn how you can engage to influence the California state budget to allocate funding to the creative workforce, arts education, cultural districts, small budget performing arts organizations, museums, and lift the state agency's baseline budget from 66 cents per capita per person in the state of California, that represents 25% of the nation's creative economy, to at least $1. So $1 for the arts.
Yeah.
We invite you to join us in this movement to prioritize the creative workforce and end the paradigm of the starving artist. Now more than ever, we must provide support for our state's artists, cultural bearers, and creative workers to help us visualize and build a future that is filled with equity, justice, and inclusion. Deepest, deepest gratitude to all who have seen the value of our creative industry. Let us move forward together using arts, culture, and creativity as our guides to strengthening all of our communities. The future of California is creative. Investing in arts today is a good investment for tomorrow. We must fortify the sector's recovery and invest in its promise. The arts work for California. We now ask that California work for the arts. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for coming to Bread and Salt. My name is Thomas DeMello. I'm the curator for Bread and Salt Main Gallery. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the building and the history. The building's a former bakery. It was started by the Kramer family in 1891. It remained a bakery until 2006. In 2013, we had our first exhibition, and we've been creating programming ever since. That's all through the generosity of Jim Brown and Isabel Dutra, the founders of Bread and Salt. It's all paid out of pocket through them. Today, at the end of the block, you can find New Harris. It's a woman-owned and operated brewery. They're just on the right-hand side over here. Just after that, it's Kathleen Mitchell's glassblowing studio. It's the only indoor glassblowing studio in San Diego. Very special to have it here. And the main gallery is Irma Sophia Potter's exhibition, or first solo exhibition in San Diego in a long time. Just next to that is Not an Exit Gallery, where you can see Jim Brown's work. We do have an artist in residence program. Walker Hewitt's our current artist in residence. His work is just behind us. In the far lobby, we have 4 independent galleries. These are all galleries that are independently funded. Ice Gallery is a site-specific gallery. Jamie Franks is the artist. She's right here. She'll be able to answer questions the gallery's open to. Next to them is Best Practice, also another funded gallery through Best Practice, Joe Yordi and Ali Munn. Quint 1.
Thomas, thank you for that. Thank you for hosting. I hope everyone will take him up on the offer to check out some of the artist spaces that are here and understand why this is such an important part of the city's arts and culture scene. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Happy ACC month. That is easier to say. ACCM month. Sorry, that's what's up. For Bob. Okay, so ACCM month. ACCM, oh my God. It's a tough job, y'all. And be on the lookout for Creative City as we roll that out and get that work underway. It's going to be a multi-year effort to get the plan together and a multi-year effort to actually deploy it in the community. But what you heard from myself, from Chairman Campillo, from Council Members Whitford and Macava is a city that absolutely understands that we are more than a collection of buildings. It is the arts that is the connective tissue between the beautiful buildings that we're trying to create, and that you all are incredible. You make us all so proud with the offerings that you give to our city, to visitors alike, and we want to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you as we do more of that. As our city grows and changes, that we make sure that those changes are curated in ways that uplift quality of life and make the everyday lives of all San Diegans better. I'm truly in awe of what you do, whether it's at Liberty Station, Balboa Park, all the other amazing cultural institutions tucked away in every neighborhood of the city. What you do makes our city so much better. And today's announcement hopefully is a signal that City Hall knows that, understands that, and this relationship that is already close will be much closer in the years to come. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it.
So what exactly is this?
This is an aspirin-proof press from the 1960s. Wow. Behind you actually is a press that's 100 years older than that, from the 1860s. So that's a cast iron hand-operated press. We do print with it.
You print with this?
We can print with it, absolutely. It's working perfectly.
Wow.
And then what we're doing here right now, we're making a catalog book. So this is the rough draft, the scratch book, a dummy book of our plan. So this is volume 2. A lot of the type that you see in the drawers here was donated. So volume 1 of the fonts available was done, and then a new donation came. And that new donation gave us about 20 more fonts. And so maybe more, 25.
So when you say fonts, are these the fonts right here I'm looking at?
This would be one example. This is Times News. This is News Gothic, I think.
Right. So the fonts are like this, though.
But a font, like on your computer, if you're doing Arial or Calibri.
Yes.
Right. So here we have. Here's our table of contents. Ad script, Albertus, Attrax. So these are all donated to us.
Got
So
you.
we're generating a catalog of what's available to artists.
Wow. So this actually prints right here.
Let's do it. So first of all, this as the cover, the
Okay.
square background already was printed, the squares, one side and the other, 2 times through the press. Then the ABC and the XYZ 2 more times through the press. And now a 5th time through the press to add the print.
We're talking manual labor here. This is what you're talking about. We're talking about she printed it.
Athenaeum Rotunda Press, font catalog, volume 2.
Oh, that is amazing. This is a very old piece of equipment that keeps on giving. Oh, I love it.
So the space, there are a lot of classes taught here in various kinds of printing, silk screening, etching, letterpress.
So you do silk screening here?
We do. We have the material set up in that part of the room. You can take a class.
Okay.
And also a lot of book arts, paper making, anything related to.
See, this is, I think, one of the best kept secrets.
We'd love not to be a secret.
Right. See, now I think I'm going to have to expose you.
So I started taking classes in Zoom during our COVID shutdown. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I hope you guys have enjoyed this moment and this great experience. And if you're looking to be involved in the community, Bread and Salt is a place to be.
Art Center
At the,
in Bread and Salt.
say it again.
The Athenaeum Art Center in the Bread and Salt building.
Give it to me one more time.
The Athenaeum Art Center in the Bread and Salt building.
Okay, so you heard what she said, and that's how you find her. Copy that.